pointing
Do you
out
think he's a deviant for being gay?
yeah, but deviant.
So when you
Yes.
look at Mickey and Minnie Mouse, you think they're having sex? Is that
Well,
what's happening?
they're mice. I totally believe in your right to marry. I want you to have every right that I have, which is to marry a woman.
Why'd you get a month? Why gay people?
What do you mean, why gay people?
Why'd you get a month?
Well, it's not just gay people, it's LGBTQ plus people.
What's the exact number of...
It is a month.
Well, hang on.
It is a month.
Hang on.
To
LGBT plus... You missed out Q.
It is a month.
Why did you leave out Q?
You can't exclude people. Who's included?
Shut up, Michael.
No, but hang on, because it's now LGBT plus 2Q and then...
Of course.
Hang on, I've got it here.
Listen.
Do you know what it is? Do you know the exact latest one?
Well, because it changes lots, and
So what is
it's
it?
lots of different communities celebrate lots of different versions of it.
What is the official
overall, it's LGBTQ plus.
No, it's LGBTQIA2SL plus.
Right, sure.
What
Well,
does
that's great.
any of that mean?
Are you now going to test me on what that is?
Yeah, because I've no idea.
That's amazing.
You know, two means two spirit.
That's right.
I heard
it does.
that one.
Yes, two.
It's
two means
a
two.
modern
What's
Indian
QIA,
thing.
what's that about?
Queer or questioning, and then also intersex, asexual.
Okay, and then two-spirit.
Yeah, two-spirit.
Yeah. What's that?
I think that is a American Canadian.
Idea.
I actually,
You
to be honest,
brilliant.
I
You've
don't
no
know.
idea.
But listen,
We're celebrating something you've no idea what you're celebrating.
In the interest of pride, I'll tell you what it is.
Oh, great.
They say that two-spirit was this ancient Native American sexual
right.
identity.
Thank
but
you.
it's not actually. It was invented in 1990.
How does Michael Knowles know this and you don't?
Because
I'll
I
tell you
celebrate
exactly
Pride
why.
every year. I
Because
have to.
Michael is more obsessed with gay people than even I am, and I sleep with men. That's why Michael
you know,
knows
it's
what
so
this
amazing. We social conservatives, we're always accused of being obsessed with these issues.
Well,
and
you
I say,
are.
hey, no, listen.
I didn't invite myself to sit here and talk about this with you.
I'll tell you how we won't talk about it anymore. I like the way things were before Pride Month. I like the way things were for years with the men go to the men's bathroom, women go to the women's. People kind of be quiet.
You're happy with gay marriage?
No, before that. I'm happy
Oh, you
when
wanna
we
go
had real
way
marriage.
back. You wanna go all the way back?
Yeah, to like 2015.
When you
I want to go
had
all the way back to
real marriage.
2015. Yeah, to like the real meaning of marriage. So anyway, I'm totally fine with that. And then it was the social revolutionaries who wanted to change everything.
Why do you have a problem with...
And then I just object to it and I say, hey, I don't think that's a great idea. And you say, why are you so obsessed?
Why?
I say, I didn't change anything.
Why is it not okay for men to marry men, women to marry women?
Because they can. It's like, why can't a circle be a square? It just isn't.
Well, that doesn't make any sense. That's not an answer to my question. Why do you believe that that isn't okay?
Because marriage in its nature is the union between a man and a woman for the purpose of procreation.
To who?
According to marriage, according to what it is.
According to the Bible?
No, according to nature.
Right. Insane. According to nature.
Yeah. It's like
what are you talking about? According to nature.
Well, marriage.
You've seen in nature that there are gay animals, right?
Yeah, that's not marriage. They're not married.
No, because marriage is what? Like,
But Michael,
just some
the
kind of
union
social-
between man and
it's a
woman.
social
Michael,
construct.
Michael,
But it's a social construct.
Michael,
So that
natural
can change. It
institution.
could-
But Michael,
it's not natural, is it?
do you accept...
Because as you just
Hang
quite
on.
rightly pointed out,
That's
animals
natural.
don't get married
I'm about to...
naturally.
I'm about
either.
beings do.
I'm about
But
to say
that's
something...
not natural.
I'm about to
They're
say
natural.
something you might agree with, so shut up a minute. Right? Do you accept that his proclivities to having sex with other men...
But it's also love. I want to make that distinction.
And love, but is a natural thing.
I think that there are all sorts of kind of weird deviancies and aberrations that
But
come
that's
out.
not an
in the
okay
world.
word to use about.
But if it's
That's the
natural,
word I'm using.
if it's natural, why is it deviant?
Well, because we mean natural in two different ways. We mean natural like things that just happen. Like, animals will kill each other and eat each other, or the cannibalism is natural, I guess, in that way. And we also mean natural as man's participation in, like, the moral law, in the eternal law. So you say, well, it's maybe cannibalism is natural in a certain sense, but really, it's totally contrary to the natural law. It's not good for human beings, so we shouldn't do it. And so when I say marriage is a natural institution, all I'm
Do
pointing
you
out
think he's a deviant for being gay?
yeah, but deviant, yeah, a little bit.
But that's
Everybody's
your
a
own
little bit
opinion of
deviant.
it. The thing is,
Yeah.
people that are homophobic, which you are being a little bit right now,
No,
are
it's not.
always closeted gay men afraid of their own feelings.
Hold on.
The research says it.
Wait a
so
second.
Michael, what I think is happening here is that
I'm learning so much about
you are
myself.
afraid of your own closeted homosexual
You know what's
feelings,
amazing
and that's
about-
why you're saying it's not natural.
What's amazing
Well,
about this-
interestingly,
that's what's happening.
Interestingly,
Have you been to gay conversion therapy?
Hold on, I've never made
I
it.
think
No,
well, you
I've
should
never
try
been to
it
any
because
therapy.
it worked on me.
No,
well, that's why I'm gay.
What's so amazing about that rejoinder, which you always hear, is if you express the view of homosexuality held by Christians, religious Jews, Muslims, like perfectly ordinary
But
people.
all of that-
Hold on. If you just express that view, notice what the really pro-LGBT activists will always say. The very first thing they'll do to insult you is to say, well, actually, you're secretly gay.
No.
And I say, I wasn't even using it as an insult. You're the one using it as an insult.
I didn't say you're secretly gay because of that. I said you're secretly gay because you're
of my
being
nice hair?
homophobic and saying I'm a deviant. That's
Well,
why I
let me
said
tell
you're
you,
secretly
that is
gay.
that. That's
But
the
that
same
is because
thing.
you're afraid of gay people. And the only reason
not
that
afraid
that
of
would be
gay
is
people.
because of that. And let
I'm
me
not
just come
afraid.
back to what you said about religion. Leviticus, which is a chapter in the Bible that most people are drawing on.
a book of the Bible, yeah.
A book, sorry, chapter, whatever. I don't mean to offend anyone here, but that was written by the Jewish people after the Babylonians invaded as a sort of strict moral code, right?
Yeah.
You're impressed by how intelligent I am, sounding
I'm stunned
briefly.
by what I'm hearing.
That is not God's word. That is the word
Well, no,
of a strict moral code that came in after an invasion, after a war. There are so many other chapters that are ignored, other texts that are ignored.
Just for your edification, Christians and Jews and Muslims believe that the Bible is, in fact, God's word.
Yes,
It's
but
not that God
Leviticus
literally writes it with his hands.
isn't God's word.
But I'm just pointing out to you, you say that a Jewish scribe wrote down the book of Leviticus, therefore it's not God's word. The Christian belief is not that God, like literally a hand came out of the cloud to write the Bible.
yeah,
it's
obviously.
that God inspired the men who wrote the Bible.
Okay, but why are the men
So
that
that's how
wrote
it's
that
God's
book
word.
correct and the other books that weren't included incorrect?
What other books?
Okay, I want you to read a book.
Why
called
are
The Queer-
books that are not in the Bible?
I would like you to read a book called The Queer Thing About Sin, which dives into this quite deeply.
Can you explain the point? I'm trying to get
I think
what
the point is that a lot of books were written around then, and only certain ones were chosen. Also, you're only handpicking certain
books that were not the Bible
handpicking
were
certain
also written
laws
at the same
from
time.
that
Yeah.
book.
All right,
Why are you not worrying about what you eat? And
All right,
the
let me
different
just ask
fabrics
again.
you
But let me
wear?
ask again.
Because there's a difference in the
Regardless
three
of your individual views about this, okay? Why do you get a month to just go on about being gay? But why do you?
It's not a month to go on
Why not
about
have
being
if you
gay.
want have a day,
It's-
have a Pride Day, but why a month?
We have lots of different Pride events all over the world. I think it's an important month because it shows people that we're okay, we're allowed to exist, and that the world supports us.
Yeah, but surely you've reached a point now where this is
No,
general...
Piers, we haven't, because there's idiots like
I'm
Michael
much
sat
more.
here.
Listen,
Bless you. And
listen.
I'm a fan, but
I'm from New York.
You're
I
a
went
fan
to-
of an idiot.
Yeah.
I don't want to offend you.
And he's
at
here
all.
sharing a
hold on, he's a
platform with a
banana.
deviant. I mean, I'm a little bit confused.
Look,
he's happy to share a platform with a deviant. You think you're a fan of an idiot. I mean, forgive me if I'm sitting here feeling a little bit confused.
Listen.
So, wait, now you're confused? Does that mean that you are part of the LGBT?
Not about my sexuality, no.
No, listen.
He's not accused.
I've never harboured any indecent thoughts towards you.
I think your question is a bit, you're simplifying it slightly. And I think you know why.
No, I'm genuinely confused. I get why certain days get celebrated as a day, right? Where you have a day where the world's focus is on, that day. And there are many, many, many days like that. And I'm all in favour of that. That's fine.
right.
And I'd be totally fine with a Pride Day around the world where everyone who's LGBTQIA2SL, you don't even know what 2SL means. Just to your point, we had it checked.
Piers, let me just...
Hang on. It's a term used by some indigenous North American people to describe individuals whose spirits are a blend of both masculine and
But
feminine
it was
traits.
invented in 1990 by a woman who said it
let
came
me
to her in a
just-
dream.
Right, to
so
me-
it's a
let
totally
me just
modern
speak to
thing.
my-
To me, a lot of that
Let me just
lecturing
speak-
and stuff is complete nonsense.
Let me just speak to my
and as
personal-
always, when people talk about things like two-spirit, whatever, and I start to say, well, I can identify as whatever I want, and I do the old, I want to be a two-spirit penguin, and then you all go, well, that's ridiculous. But here are you supporting a month, celebrating a series of terminology which you don't even know what some of it means.
As a gay man, I'm supporting anyone in the LGBTQ plus community.
Why would
That
you
doesn't mean- I
exclude
don't
the-
necessarily-
why would you exclude
I'm not
the
excluding
two-spirit?
anyone, Piers. You're
Why are you excluding
trying to,
the two-spirit?
You're trying to cancel me within my own community. I know
No,
what
just,
you're doing.
I think
Can
they'll be as
please
shocked.
just
They
speak?
will be as
The
shocked as
reason-
I am.
The reason
you can't describe what the
in the
two-spirit
UK,
people
I think
are.
in the UK we don't have two-spirit, so I'm not completely across that. And I don't.
Would you like to apologise to the two-spirit community?
Would you
for-
like to apologise to the two-spirit community?
Why?
Because
He
you just-
supports them. He's including them.
Right, great.
I've included them, you haven't.
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you want
Would
me
you like
say
to
here? Can I
apologise
tell you?
to the two-spirit community for not knowing what they mean?
Yeah, sure. I apologise to the two-spirit community for not knowing
Okay.
what that means.
But do you accept-
do you apologise
But
to
I would
the-
like to
But do you
understand.
accept this is part of the problem? That we're,
No,
we're spending
not
a
at all.
month celebrating
Maybe
stuff
if-
which you can't even explain what we're
You won't
celebrating.
even let me get a word in. And the reason that I don't understand what it is because people like you are just shouting over LGBTQ plus people who
No,
are trying
you wouldn't
to
have understood
help
it
conversation.
however
You're
long I
still
gave
doing
you.
it. You're literally still shouting
You
at me.
wouldn't have
Can I
known
tell you
however
why,
long I gave you.
Can I tell you why I think a Pride Month is important?
Yes.
I think it is important because when I grew up as gay at school, I lived in Section 28, which was a law in the UK that banned teachers or anybody discussing gay people. So nobody knew what gay was. So when I was bullied for being gay, and people still get bullied all the time in the UK for being LGBTQ+, two-spirit around the world, that is very difficult. And I think Pride Month gives TV shows, stations, conversations like this a platform
But you're
to
not
say
explaining
to people
again.
that feel alone that
I
they
get
are
it.
not alone.
I get it. And look, it was illegal to be gay when I was born.
Exactly.
Right? So I'm not oblivious
Which is why
to...
you're not gay.
Yeah,
And,
but
you know,
also
if-
it's why I hope you would say, I don't have a trace of homophobia about me. I've always been completely tolerant of LGBT community.
Well, you hide behind that.
I lose it when you get into all the other letters because even you don't know what they mean.
But I'm not those letters, so why would I necessarily
you
know
did
what
bring in
they
the tea.
mean?
Wow.
So
brought
you
up the
only
tea.
care
No, I
about...
don't only care
You only
about-
care
you can't
about
expect me to
certain numbers
know-
of letters for Pride Month.
Do you know about every single different type of straight person all
Stop
over
me
the world?
wanting a month to celebrate
Okay,
it.
but it's
you
not.
do.
You're oversimplifying
You mentioned the
it.
tea. Forget the two-spirit for a second. You mentioned the tea. In Pride Month, are we really expected to support the tea? In other words, am I obligated to believe this ludicrous notion that a man can really be a woman? Am I a hater? Am I a bigot? Am I secretly trans if I don't believe in that?
I don't think that you are obligated to believe or support anything if you don't want to.
Right.
But I personally do.
But publicly, I have to because Pride
No, you
is
don't.
everywhere, and you
No,
get a
you
whole
literally
month.
don't. You
There are
spend your
signs
entire
all over the
career
public
not
square. There are
doing that.
flags everywhere. There are lessons in schools. There are commercials on TV.
Would you mind if we had a straight day?
No, I wouldn't mind at all.
What if we had a straight year?
You do have a straight year. But if you want to have one
So
specific...
if I went out and had a load of flags celebrating...
I'm fine with that.
Straight
You know
day.
they did that in the US and no one showed up. It
Really?
bombed. I think it was Washington or somewhere else.
That'd be
They
quite
had a
funny.
straight
This is
celebration. You
look,
should have gone.
This is I know I didn't get invited. Maybe they
Well-
thought I was gay. This is my problem with the Pride Month.
Right.
One, Pride is like the queen of all sins. And now the sin of all queens. Some might say. But why does one have to have pride when you could just say, look, it's a crazy world. People sometimes do some aberrant things. We all like Cole Porter and Noel Coward. Why, in other words?
Why is what I'm doing aberrant? Sorry, abhorrent. What are you talking about?
Because men, the natural
Why do
end
you
of
think that?
the natural
and
end
why
of
are
a
you
man.
sexualizing love?
Here, I'll tell you
so
why.
much. That's why I'm saying
Because-
you're in the closet
Love-
because you immediately think of gay men.
Sex
Two
involves
gay-
love,
Wait,
in
you
the
think of
best
two gay
cases.
men and you immediately jump to deviance, abhorrent. Like really, what we're talking about is love.
No,
Okay? You decide to take it sexual. I'm not talking about
I think
sex.
gay stuff
You
is
are.
sexual. Is that not? Am I wrong in
So why
believing
do
gay stuff?
So when I
has
think
something
about
to
you
do
and your
with sex?
wife, do I immediately jump to that being sexual?
that is a sexual
Do you look at
relationship.
Minnie
Sex
and
is what
Mickey Mouse
defines-
and be like, oh, they're actually definitely having sex?
If they're married, then sex is involved.
So when you look at Mickey and Minnie Mouse, you think they're having sex? Is that
well,
what's happening?
they're mice. They're
Is
not
there-
people.
well,
I don't
right,
know their
but if
age.
you were
I
to
don't know if
see-
they're legally married.
But if you were to see them celebrating Pride, you'd be offended and
Yeah,
you'd say, how dare they?
You ask, why do I say it's deviant? I'm not saying it. I'm not like
Well, no,
Bernard
I
Ross
asked
or
you
something.
why you're not offended when you see two straight cartoons, but you would be offended when you saw two
straight
gay
relationships,
cartoons.
because like marriage, straight relationships are normal and good.
You are just
And
repeating yourself. You're not answering my question.
I am.
Why are you sexualizing two men in love?
who have sex. Why? Because that's kind of what defines it.
But that's not what pride is. We're not saying, oh my God, look, we're all having sex. We're all fucking each other. That's not what pride is.
That
Pride
is how
saying-
the pride parades actually do generally
Pride
play out
is
on Main
literally
Street.
saying-
Like there's like leather and weird spankings and things. It is. That's how
There's
it plays
that,
out.
but the straight community do that as well.
No, we don't have.
Yes,
we
you do.
just acknowledge we don't have
Oh my God,
parades.
you are joking. Straight people have so many kinks.
We do not have any
What's your
spank
porn
parades
category?
ever.
What do you
None.
watch when you're watching porn?
I do not watch pornography.
Come on, you must.
I don't
What's your
watch-
category?
I don't watch pornography.
Really? You don't?
I don't.
What's this? Is this your hand on the Bible?
Yeah, I don't have a Bible on me. I don't have Leviticus either.
Okay,
I don't
you've
watch
never
pornography.
watched. What about when you were at college?
No,
what
you
did
know,
you
I
wank
might have
to?
seen a naked lady
Listen,
once or twice, but
you
I don't
don't-
watch pornography.
Okay, and
I
what
really
kind of
don't.
naked lady are you into? What are your kinks?
I don't.
What do you like doing with your wife? Well, if you're going to sexualize my
It's like,
community,
I love how he
if you're
says-
going to
I
do
love how
that,
he goes-
I'm going to do
he
it
goes-
back.
He goes, why do you think gay people are having
Because I am
anything to do with
playing the
sex? And
same
then he's
game,
asking
because I'm
about
doing
weird-
this, because I'm giving it back to you.
Here's why we would say it's deviant, is because man has like natural ends, like the eye is for seeing, the glass is for drinking water out of, and man has a sexual end, which is sexual congress with women, which creates babies.
Okay,
That's
why
what
do you
it's
have a
called
G-spot?
T-wall.
Why do you have a G-spot in your bum?
I don't.
Yes, you do. You actually
promise
do.
you,
That is scientifically
I don't.
proven.
I
And if you
don't.
go all the way back to ancient Rome, Men have been having sex with men.
I just want to clarify
for a long
for the
time.
audience. I do
What
not
you're talking
have
about
that
is insane.
where he
Gotta
said,
say,
what you are talking about is
the
literally
TikTok clips
not
from this
true.
are going to blow up. I
You
just
are
want to say
literally
that.
lying. You're like missing out on so much. You
I
could be
don't
doing.
have a G-spot.
Well, you do, and your wife
don't.
and you should enjoy
Well,
playing.
let me
with
just conclude things by saying,
But again-
James, I have no problem with who you have sex with. You can have sex with
that.
whoever
It's
you
not
like.
about sex.
who you-
Stop bringing it
or
back
who you love,
to sex.
or who you love,
Thank
or who
you.
you want to marry. You have my blessing for all the rights that I enjoy, and I believe that firmly.
Thank
so
you.
on that, I totally disagree.
Well, but I agree, Pierce, because I would say I totally believe in your right to marry. I want you to have every right that I have, which
you.
is to marry a woman.
By the way,
that isn't going to happen.
when you said that, maybe he's in the closet, and that's, a lot of gay guys eventually go the other way.
What you're suggesting that I'm
I
going to
think
marry?
you're probably one of the least likely gay people I've met that would turn
Thank
the other
you.
way. But
Thank
you
you
never
so
know,
much.
mate.
And listen,
you never know.
I'd love, Piers, to celebrate your Arsenal win. And I'm very proud of the guys for celebrating Pride.
Yeah,
So
they do.
anytime you want to take me up the Arsenal, I'm ready.
On that note.
It was a great clip. Now stop, ring the bell, subscribe, and we will see you next time.